Hey friends, hi, how are you? And it's Dave Williams here with this weekly wisdom. So I'm actually labeling you friends now because we've been together for some time. So hopefully we're starting to get to know each other a little bit better. So I think it's fair that we can call each other friends now. I really hope so. And please excuse me, just having a quick drink. I've treated myself to a hot chocolate, so I hope you don't mind me sharing that on here. So this week's weekly wisdom, and yeah, since the last one, I hope you've had a really good week. And yeah, and I mean that sincerely. And I'm going to be honest with you as far as this week is concerned. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm always honest anyway, but I'm going to be totally honest with you. And, there's this thing about transparency. What load of codswallop. The reality is, so many people want transparency, but they don't know what to do with it when people are open and honest. And it's in so many ways, it just creates a few more challenges. But anyway, that's a different story. So the reason why I'm going to be really honest with you tonight is I'd planned out what I was going to be doing, and it's, just bear with me. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. I didn't realise how dark it got all of a sudden, so I apologise. I was looking at the camera and thinking, I think I'm there somewhere, But yes. So, like I said, what I'd originally planned I was going to do for this weekly wisdom, I'm not going to do. It's going to be in one of the weeks that follow. So I thought for this week, I'm going to congratulate you. Okay, you may well be thinking, why? And I will explain, obviously, because, you are a phenomenal person. And look, you're a human being, so you may not feel like that at times. And I get that. Look, we all go through peaks and troughs about how we feel. But I'm congratulating you because you, no matter what your age is, no matter where you are in life, will have actually overcome challenges. And the reason why I'm doing this week is over the last few days, I've been contacted by quite a few friends, family, acquaintances, etc., that are just going through some really, terrible challenges at the moment. It's illness in the family or with friends, bereavements, and it just seems to have been a cluster of messages literally over about the last 2 or 3 days. And I was thinking about this, and the reason why I changed it, and realistically, it's only about 10 minutes ago that I thought, no, I'm going to change that. Because I was doing some work and some music came on, and it was Elton John, I'm Still Standing. And those of a certain age remember when that first came out. If you are quite a bit less experienced in life, then it may well be an idea to go onto YouTube and have a look. Now, I still remember certain parts of the video as well. And at the time, it was a case of, really? Because it was so bright and colourful and everything. But the song resonated, the fact that I'm still standing better than I've ever been. And I'm not going to sing it, I hasten to add. So, so don't run a mile yet. But I just thought that resonates in view of what's happened, with so many people getting in touch with me over the last few days. Because these people they're obviously going through some real personal challenges at the moment. And for obvious reasons, I'm not going to elaborate or anything along those lines. But like I said, that song just really resonated because we're all overcoming challenges. I'm not going to say on a daily basis, but it could be argued that we are all overcoming challenges on a daily basis. But some of us in life have overcome large challenges. Now, it may well have been a couple of years ago, it may well have been 15 years ago, whatever it is, but we overcame them. And that's why I'm congratulating you, because you're here. You're here now. Not necessarily just because you're watching this. Don't get me wrong. But you've found a way to get through those particular challenges. And you found a way that was right for you. Now, don't get me wrong. If you go back to when this challenge happened, you may well look back and think, hey, I wish I'd have done things differently. Yeah, well, we're human beings. We all do that, don't we? And that's the beauty of experience and retrospect. But at the time we dealt with it, you dealt with it, with the experience that you had at the time, and probably went through, your gut feelings as well, but also your logical feelings and your logical thoughts. And that's what got you through. Because let's face it, when something that we haven't experienced in life materializes, there isn't a Bible or a big book that you can refer to and say, right, chapter 12, that refers to that, and this is what you need to do. It's very rare that happens. Now, sometimes other people in your circle of influence, or indeed, obviously, as far as social media is concerned these days, other people have had similar experiences. Now, I say similar experiences, and the reason why I say that is no one has exactly the same experience. Now, that may well seem a bit surreal to say, if two people were there or three or a group of people were there when something happened, yes. Well, let me explain. See, with our experiences growing up, we all learn and view things in a slightly different way. So even if, you've got, let's say, identical twins that have basically lived in each other's pocket throughout their lives, and they've done absolutely everything together. Even then, using that as the extreme example, they're still going to view things slightly differently. And that's what I mean when I say similar experiences, because of your blueprint, and your blueprint is going to be different to my blueprint, to partner, brother, sister, parents, whatever it is. Your blueprints are all going to be slightly different. It's a bit like your DNA, for want of a better term. But the thing is, with these challenges, you've got through it. Now, you may well have not got the ideal outcome, but the thing is, you've got an outcome. And that's an awful lot more than what many people do. See, many people, what they do, when they come across challenges, then they withdraw and let that challenge dictate them, instead of us dictating to the challenge. Because challenges are going to happen, and more often than not, these challenges are actually created by someone or something else. But it's all about how we react to that particular situation. And like I say, you've overcome those particular challenges, and you further forward than what you were when that challenge materialized. And if you're going through challenges right now, then look, my heart goes out to you. It really does, because challenges, naturally enough, can be challenging, because it breaks the status quo. The status quo of what we're normally used to. And I've mentioned status quo and Elton John. This is not one of those videos that I'm trying to fit as many groups or songs in or anything along those lines. It was just by chance that I mentioned that. But like I say, these challenges, and it's about how we deal with them and how we come out the other side. Now, sometimes it's a case that when we get challenges, we get through by the skin of our teeth. But we've got through, and then it's a case of, right, how can we build from there? Sometimes these challenges are a bit more prolonged, and it seems at that particular time we're just getting through a day at a time. And with both of those scenarios, I've had my experience of how I felt about certain situations, and they were incorporated with that. But like I said, we've got through, and because of society these days, where, society is a generalization, whether you agree with me on this or not, I don't know, obviously. But my perception of society is we don't necessarily celebrate success. Okay, today at the time of recording this, the Wimbledon Championships have just finished. So we've got, I think anyway, a brand new lady champion and a brand new male champion, I think. Yeah, as you can tell, I don't really watch tennis. So they'll be celebrated now, for the next, few days or whatever. And then obviously in 12 months' time when Wimbledon starts again. But for the rest of the time, it'll be forgotten about. And then society will go back to being, right, let's find someone to blame. Let's find someone to have a go at. Let's find someone that's more successful than me so I can bring them down. Let's find something to have a go at. So that's why I say society is not geared up to celebrate success. And yet we have successes all the time. And look, for some people, success is just getting up in the morning. Indeed, I've literally just written a chapter for a co-authored book that's going to be coming out later this year. And that was all about success. Because we tend to ignore it or take it for granted. And we tend to focus on the elements that aren't serving us that well as far as life is concerned. Where we possibly haven't done as well as what we wanted. We haven't got the result that we wanted, or someone said something that we didn't particularly like, or whatever it is. That's what we tend to focus on. And yet, doesn't it make sense to focus on the successes that we've had? Because these successes have actually helped you be the person you are today. And the person you are today is influencer. I think it was last week I mentioned about influencing. And realistically, you are influencing people all the time. Whether you think you are or not, you are. Whether it be a partner, whether it be colleagues, whether it be your children, whether it be if you pop onto a bus and you say good morning to the bus driver, that's still influencing someone. And the reality is people are watching you. Scary, isn't it? They're watching what you say and what you do, even without you realizing it. So doesn't it make sense to influence people at a higher level when we're focusing on the successes that we've had and we're reminding ourselves of the successes that we've had? Because that way we can impact people more than what we would ever think. Now, I can't remember if I've shared this one with you. If I have, then, hey, it's good as a reminder. So let me ask you a question. And obviously, you can't answer me on this one. But when you were at school, college, university, whatever it was there a teacher that impacted you? It may not have been at the time, but it may well have been like 5 years later, 10 years later, possibly. So was there a teacher that really impacted you at the time? For most of us, the answer is yes. Okay. Now, hopefully it was a great impact rather than a negative one, but hopefully it was one of these. So let me ask you another question then. So does that teacher know how much of an impact that you had on them? Now, I do this when I speak at speaking engagements and conferences and events and things like that. Now, always love the replies with this one. So I normally ask people to raise their hands, if they've got someone, and there are very few hands that are raised when I ask the question, do they know? And there's several reasons for that, either they or you have actually moved away from the area, and have retired, you've lost touch, blah, blah, blah. Loads of different reasons. But the reason why I asked that question is someone had an impact on you and they don't know. But likewise, like I say, you are being watched all the time with what you say and what you do. So you're impacting other people all the time. And sometimes you will not know. You will never get to know that. But people will remember. So wouldn't it make sense to impact people in a great way? And the people that are remembered are normally the people that impact others, that influence others emotionally. Now, the best way to impact someone or to influence someone emotionally is to feel better ourselves. And that's why I started off this video with congratulating you for overcoming these challenges. So my message for this week is celebrate the things that you've been successful at. What I would say is get a sheet of A4 paper or whatever, or if you're technically minded, like I'm not, I'm old school, pen and paper each and every time. But, get a Word document on your laptop or your phone or whatever it is, and just brainstorm all the things that you've been successful at over the years. And just keep on going and keep on adding to it, and then refer back to it on a regular basis. And these things, when you can really remember, think back to the time that happened, as if you were there, or as if you are there now looking back at your younger self. And think about, the smells that were around at the time, your feelings and your emotions at the time. Visually, what was around there at the time, because all of these things, especially the visual and the smells, they are positive anchors for you. So it may well sound a bit woo-woo, and it's not, yeah? These things have been proven. So think back to those times. Think back to the times that were successful. How did you feel? What was the aroma? What else? What was the atmosphere like? All of these things. And what you do, and you call positive stacking all of these things for you in your own mind. And when you keep on positive stacking, then you may not realize, but the way that you view things can change. Especially if you normally view things, shall we say, in a negative way, that life is not happening for you, it's happening against you. Yes? I've been there. Yeah, I freely admit it. Then what happens over a period of time, that mentality will actually start to shift over here. And when you're over here anyway, when you get additional challenges come through, because they will, it's called life, then they're so much easier to process and to deal with and to take action to resolve them. Because, your confidence is that much stronger that, hey, okay, look, we've got this particular challenge. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to get sorted. I'm going to take action, blah, blah, blah. Okay? So like I say, this realistically all around, this particular video has been to congratulate you where you are, where you've come from, what you've achieved, and what you can actually do moving forward. So don't forget to do that little exercise, yeah? Piece of paper, pen, or whichever format you prefer to use, and just absolutely brainstorm all the things that you're successful at. Now, you will not remember everything, yeah? I had a conversation with my dad on a couple of days ago now, and there were certain things that came up then and I'd forgotten about. I remembered this much, but with that conversation, he'd mentioned this. So my memory is sort of between the two now, but I recalled more of the scenario because we delete an awful lot of the situations that we experience. Most of them are actually stored in here somewhere. Okay, and it's a bit like a big filing cabinet. So it's knowing the questions to ask yourself. So sometimes, if you're with your partner, if you're with the kids, if you're with friends or whatever, ask them. Ask them for certain scenarios. Because sometimes they will bring up something that you've totally forgotten about. And sometimes you're going to get that boom. That's that light bulb moment that you think, oh God, yes, I'd forgotten about that, but that was brilliant. And all of these things, and then think about it, like I say, make a note of them, refer to them on a regular basis, because we need to break the trance that society seems to be putting the vast majority of people into. In as much as, the world is awful, the world is this, and this is going to be happening, and no, the world is not awful. The world is a phenomenal place. It's just that some of the people on it make poor decisions that impact others. Don't believe me? Look what happened when we went through COVID. You know, so many people were actually in lockdown, excuse me, and look what happened as far as nature is concerned. It was reported, rightly or wrongly, but it was reported that the big gap in the ozone layer got smaller. Because there weren't as many vehicles, etc., that were actually doing their normal journeys. See, the world is a phenomenal place. Nature is absolutely immense if it's given a chance. But like you are absolutely amazing. So why not give yourself the best chance to then achieve whatever you want to achieve? And one of the ways of actually doing that is, like I say, break the transform negativity that's going on in the world, or that's reported that's going on in the world. Because there are loads of phenomenal things that are going on in the world as well, but surprise, surprise, they're not reported. Why? Because they don't grab headlines. So your headline is you. And what you do. Okay? So as I draw this week's Weekly Wisdom to close, I hope you got value from that. And no matter where you are, whatever you do, and have a fantastic week. Keep on being the special person that you are. And I look forward to catching up with you soon. All right. In the meantime, big hugs from here. And like I say, have a wonderful week. See you later. Bye.